men could use more guy friends. Studies show that people with good social connections are healthier and generally happier. It can mean a 50% higher survival rate, which compares with quitting smoking. But for men, friendship doesn't always come easy. Geoff Greif is a professor of social work at the University of Maryland, and he's the author of Buddy System, Understanding Male Friendships. Also with us, Cindi, editor-in-chief of Glamour magazine. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
So we've all heard about bromances, male friendships, but you did some studies about this. Why do men have a harder time making friendships?
I think men have not been socialized as well as we could have been to share their feelings, to be emotionally expressive, physically expressive, and you need to do a little bit of reaching out to others in order to make a strong connection. But men do have very good friendships. They just look different from the way that women's friendships look.
How so?
We tend to have what's called shoulder-to-shoulder friendships. Charlie, you and I will get together and do something, and women are going to be more apt to meet face-to-face and have a face-to-face friendship.
Well, we go to a sporting event or something where they, if you go into a restaurant, you just see women engaged in animated conversation sitting across from each other,
Yeah.
which is the kind of thing you're talking about.
However, we think that Charlie is the exception to this rule for most men because Charlie has so many close male friendships as well as female friendships as well. How do you see this, Cindi?
Well, I think it's interesting because in some ways women should probably be a little bit more like men and men should also be a little bit more like women. I mean, one of the things that you talk about in your research is that men wish they had more of these kind of face-to-face relationships that women have, and they would like to be able to talk more with their friends, and all those studies exist showing that that's great for your health and your overall happiness. But I do think, the number one thing that men do with their friends is go to sporting events. The number one thing that women do is talk. Now, that can be exhausting for women sometimes. It means that the focus is always on you.
So you talk at sporting events, that's the answer.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's great to have a friendship that can be a break from everything else in your life, and men do
but I
have
think
that.
that's part of friendship is finding things you share and do and you enjoy doing. It seems to me to be just another aspect of friendship. Conversation is one, sharing is another. Both details of your life as well as passion for sports or art or culture or...
Right. I think the trick is, if guys are at a football game, they're probably talking about something other than themselves. And that can be a good thing sometimes. Yeah.
What defines a great friendship? I mean, what are the keys to a great friendship?
According to the men that we interviewed, if you can share with somebody else, if you trust them, if they're dependable, if they're loyal, men want people who have their back and will be with them no matter what the situation is, either with them in the room or not in the room.
Do you think that's true for women?
I do, and the other thing is that a great friendship is also a real as opposed to a virtual friendship. I think we all have this illusion that we have so many friends in our lives because we have 1,000 Facebook friends, and those aren't the real friendships that are going to sustain you. They might also be fun, but they're not the thing that is going to carry you through.
I mean, I think an actual friendship is instinctively knowing what's important to that other person and being there for that. Whether it's some momentous event in their life or whether it's some tragedy in their life.
Yeah,
well, it's not having to explain yourself.
Exactly right.
And that's true with your partner as well as your friend.
And we all need that 3 a.m. friend, the person you could call at 3 in the morning if something went bad.
Someone asked this morning, though, do you think did you study both married men and unmarried men? Because does something change when a man becomes married? Because in many cases, then the wife sets up a lot of the social interactions, like where they're going to dinner, with what groups of friends, etc. More
so for older people, but it's true across the lifespan that men turn over a lot of the relationship work to their wives.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely true. And the other thing is that if a man has a lot of sustaining friendships in his life, it's good for the marriage too, because it doesn't mean that the wife is the only person who he's confiding in. That's a big responsibility.
Yeah, huge responsibility, agreed. Yeah. Well, Charlie, we're good friends.
We are.
Great to have both of you. And Gail, too. I'm sorry, Gail's not, but she's coming back. She'll be here tomorrow.
She's a big believer.
I was just thinking as we
friendship.
talked about this, whether I treat my male friends different than my female friends.
Do you?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then you're a shining example.
Well, but also I'm not married.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of men who say they don't have women friendships, that they wish they had them, but they have to have a sexual attraction to them in some way to want to be friends with them.
I think some of that is generational. I mean, what we hear from our readers in their 20s and early 30s is that they've grown up, being men's complete equals in school. They work alongside them. A lot of men these days might have a female boss. I do think things are changing.
Definitely.
All right. Great to have both of
Thank you.
Thank you.
Geoff Greif and Cindi Leive.